A trial against 3 prescription drug distributors continued in West Virginia. More than 40 cities and counties there are suing those companies for their role in the state's opioid epidemic. They're accused of pumping millions of prescription opioids into West Virginia communities for decades. Now, across the nation, opioids are responsible for 83% of all fatal drug overdoses. Nearly half of deaths contained an opioid cut with at least one additional illicit stimulant like fentanyl, which makes up 70% of all fatal overdoses. Now, the University of Texas at Austin is looking to find a way to track, understand, and prevent future drug overdoses. The pilot project, called Texcope, is working to collect data, then send potentially life-saving resources to those impacted areas. Jayla Washington from our Austin station, KXAN, has that story.
2 families still suffering from unimaginable loss.
An autopsy was performed and it came back as fentanyl poisoning.
What he got was Xanax mixed with fentanyl.
These moms who lost their sons to drugs feel there needs to be more awareness. So they're glad there's finally a new system that'll track overdoses and even point out hotspots for bad batches of drugs across the state.
It would most definitely help with a bigger picture of how bad of a problem this is.
UT's project is called Texcope. In its pilot phases, its team has partnered with agencies that work with drug users to avoid overdoses. So far, they're working with groups in Austin, San Antonio, and El Paso. Agencies will be asked to report things like when and where an overdose happened and the drugs involved. Texcope says that's important because the agencies get information that doesn't get officially reported. That helps them track data, identify hotspots, and target outreach.
One central database that's publicly available will allow all those different organizations to work together more cohesively towards this goal of saving lives.
Joseph Gorordo works with Recovery Unplugged, an addiction treatment center. He does a lot of community outreach himself and hopes trends from Texcope data are analyzed.
Do you think that having something like this, being able to better target kind of where these overdoses are happening, could have helped save your son's life?
I would have been more aware of where he was living, and I would have been more in tuned into what was happening around the state.
Jayla Washington, NewsNation.
Yes, so many American families impacted. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.